But then we have characters like Scarlett Johansson,
Mm.
who isn't as busty or voluptuous as Black Widow in the comic books.
It's pretty close.
Her tits aren't that big.
Well, no, it's not that they're not. It's the costume doesn't play it up as much as they do in the comics.
Be that as
whatever, go ahead.
When she plays the character, you buy into her being that character.
Yeah, she gives a good performance.
And you get the same thing with Gale.
You don't because you haven't seen her do it yet.
Let me finish. From what I can only judge it based on what I've seen.
I know, and I'm just saying you have not yet seen her perform. Not really. I will say this: she could still pull off an amazing Wonder Woman.
All right, fine. I'll put it like this: she made me, as far as her outside of the fight scene, she made me want to watch her play Wonder Woman.
Fine,
she gave a good enough performance that I am intrigued to see her
in the movie.
So
you want to go see the movie?
I am curious to see her as Wonder Woman.
Then that's probably all that they could ask for this movie.
To the action scenes and her overall performance, because even in the action scenes, you have to act. Hear me out, because there are plenty of actresses you could have put in that costume who, even with all the CGI in the world, you're not gonna believe that they're who they're playing. Again, I hark back to Catwoman. Halle Berry is a beautiful, beautiful woman. Even with all that CGI, I didn't buy her as Catwoman. I was like,
sure, I didn't buy Jennifer Gardner as Elektra. But
exactly, you're like, okay, I get it, actress, pretty face, costume, okay, but she didn't give me that.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna argue that because I think that was not a minor point of the movie. I think strategically,
graces of the movie.
That's strategically, I think they played her character, and to your point, I guess her performance well because she was. They didn't overuse her.
No.
It was because you were left wanting a little bit more, which is perfect when you have a solo movie coming out next. Well, not next.
She just kind of came out of nowhere.
She kind of came out of nowhere, but yet it hinted at her backstory,
and
which is a broader mystery, which will be explained in the prequel.
She played the whole mysterious aspect of her character being an unknown in that world really well.
Right, and set it up perfectly for the next movie. So that's again, the more I think about it, I feel like they really did a good job of setting up the DCCU in the way they did. Really, the only complaints I had as far as the setup was Cyborg and Aquaman. Those two cameos were shit.
I am offended by all of the cameos.
I'm not offended. Now here,
I'm offended by all of the cameos involving the last minute phoned in shit. We forgot to put these guys in the movie.
No, I tell you what, the Flash one works.
A button.
No, the Flash. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I do agree that it's like really, it's a folder with the logos.
Before you get into that, I do owe you an apology. That was not Cyborg. Upon my second viewing, I got
it's the Flash,
look at it, and it's Flash. Looks kind of dumb.
I know it looks dumb, but it was still Flash in the costume.
Speaking of the cameos, I thought the cameos were bad. I thought that was one of the.
Here's the
thing that plagued this movie. Not to cut you off, but the thing that plagued this movie is it's a bunch of cool shit surrounded by shit that either doesn't make sense. Or bad.
Here's what it is. It's so many amazing things, but instead of tying them all together in a nice, beautiful tapestry, you have them in a big pile.
Yes.
That you're looking at it and you go, oh, that's really cool, but I don't understand what the fuck it means.
Get here?
Right, like, who is this? Why do we have a dream inside of a dream where the Flash is talking to him? Is it a premonition? Is it a dream? Is it somebody from the future? And the worst part is, as a comic book person, they're all fucking possibilities.
Yes.
You don't know which one it is. Because it could be any of them.
That ruled any of that out.
I know.
So it was like,
that's the problem. It's like, wait, so was it some weird combination of Flash Force coming back? Or not Time Force. Time Force coming back, but in a dream?
That doesn't make
what
sense.
What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense.
And that's why I kind
Is
of
Batman
thought it
psychic?
was Cyborg. Like,
but
trying to get used to using
sense.
the mother box. And that would have made complete sense. In the
no, because it would have still been in the dream. That's what made it make no sense.
Yeah, true. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
But you know what? It's like...
We're talking about the good stuff.
Oh, yeah, we got into the bad stuff. See, that's what happens with this movie. You have so much good stuff, but it's surrounded by a sea of bullshit. And it's confusing because your map doesn't exist.
No.
Clearly, Zack Snyder's map didn't exist. Every complaint I have with this movie
is a directorial.
It's a directorial.
It is.
It's either
it is
editorial,
direct influence over.
Yeah, well, that's the whole movie. But no, it is very much in the storytelling. And somebody said this. I think it might have been on that same Collider video. It was a really good video. And it's such a good point. Zack Snyder, you make, to your credit, amazing visuals.
Yes.
Nobody will say that you don't have amazing visuals. This movie is no exception.
One of the best visuals was in the first 30 seconds with the
pearls.
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, oh.
It set a wonderful tone for the start of the movie.
Wayne. They didn't make him like a don't shoot my wife pussy. He's like,
no,
motherfucker.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna try. I might not succeed.
Martha, she's like, oh no, fuck that. Oh.
No, I will say this, and I didn't want to see another. Going in, that was the one thing I was really dreading was I was like another origin story for Batman, but it was done so well because it was the opening credits.
Yes,
it said and it was done very stylized.
For every Batman movie from now on, if you're going to do
just don't do it. Don't do it anymore. Now it's been done.
You know they are. You know
they won't do it anymore.
10 years from now, we'll be having the same conversation because we'll be going to see
Batman.
But be that as it may,
listen.
Do it in the opening credits.
That was the
best.
That
shit out of the way.
That was the best Batman origin of any
Visually,
movie.
yes.
Even story-wise, period. It was succinct. It got the point across. It made both Wayne and Martha look like very strong people in the seconds that you saw them
to save Gotham. Because
you get it. You get
he's trying to save the city, but he's cowering when that scene always comes about. In every version, he never portrayed as a fighter.
No,
and we
in this one
get that, which backs up all those claims.
And also,
he's trying to save Gotham.
Exactly, and also you're like, okay, that's where Bruce gets it. That shit was inherent.
Yes.
And I love that scene. And this was something that was new too. I love that scene where he was talking to Alfred, and he goes, my dad was telling me how we made our money, and Alfred's like, oils and railroads, and he's like, the first generation, we were
hunters.
He goes, we were selling furs made our fortune selling furs to the French. We were hunters. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, fuck yes, you were. That's just in your blood. And it makes sense. You see it in his dad, and now he's just personified in him because of this huge catalyst.
If you could chop this movie into just sections and grade just sections.
Oh, the Batman sections were amazing.
It would have a lot of A's on that report card.
That's my point. It's a lot of gold. All this to say, Zack Snyder, you have amazing visuals, amazing sequences.
Let somebody else write the movie for you. And you just
that's what they said. They said, bring on a co-director. Somebody that maybe isn't their strong suit isn't visuals, but they can tell a fucking story in a way that makes sense. So take somebody like that who can tell a really good story, but maybe has not so great visuals. Somebody, I can't think of somebody off the top of my head, but somebody that, that's their strong suit is telling a really good story, a really convoluted, multi-facet, multi-part story.
That makes sense.
And you can follow, even though it's got all these moving parts. Bring them on to help run the story part of it. And then you say, okay, now that we know how the story is told, let me come in and let me make it look cool as shit.
Exactly.
Because that you're good at. But you have all this cool as shit looking stuff, and it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
And that's why I say the overall grade of this movie won't be out for another 4 months.
Because you don't know what's really in it.
30 minutes.
So let's talk about that. But go ahead, finish that.
You need that to get the overall scope of what's
I think
going on.
You should have made it a 3-hour movie. Yes. People were already there.
I wish they would stop doing that.
I don't cut it. It's already there.
For everybody in the future who is willing to put their money into a comic book movie, know this. And I'm going to speak for every single comic book fan on the planet who will be the ones who go see your movie,
once. That's where your $4.5 million opening weekend came from.
Yes. Yes, people knew it was bad,
and they went anyway.
The first day it was out, the reviews.
No,
came
fuck
out
that. They knew that shit
like
the day before it came out.
It was bad. We knew going in that
it had
might
problems.
Be bad. There were issues,
and it still broke every fucking record in the book.
But why? Because you have the most iconic characters in history
and the most loyal fucking fans in the world.
Loyal fans in the world.
They're gonna go see it twice just on principle.
The 3-hour movie.
Everybody will go see that.
Go to Comic-Con one year. Any Comic-Con anywhere in the world. Walk up to anybody in that building and say, "Hey, I'm gonna take your favorite comic book and make it a movie." Only downside is, and you don't even have to say 3 hours. Just go ahead and say 4, just for shits and giggles.
It's going to be 4 hours to really do it right.
They go back. Okay, when's it coming out?
Yeah.
When?
More is better.
Let me go buy my ticket now. When? Can I pre-order? Can I now? Need my car?
What do we want to do?
What do we have to do to make this happen? Because I need to see this. Just give them the movie that they have been.
Don't cut corners. Don't edit out shit that makes the movie make sense.
Yes.
So let's talk about the bonus scene. Did you see it?
No.
Okay, so the bonus scene, for those that haven't seen it, introduces the new gods and the mother boxes. So, and it's a really interesting scene, and it's completely taken out of context, and it's only about 2 of the 30 minutes that we haven't seen yet. So there's a lot more that's probably before and after this. But it's when Lex Luthor is in the ship, but prior to creating Doomsday. He's in the ship, and he's learning, and you see this figure appear. And we don't know who the figure is, but a lot of people think that it might be one of, and the name escapes me, but the main, not Herald, but General of Darkseid, the one with the horns.
Yeah,
that guy.
Calabac.
Right, so a lot of people think it might be him, and it could be, but it's a really stylized version if it is, and it's not a true version. It's made out of the same material. It's a representation. It's made out of the same material as the mother box. So it's that silver metallic looking thing, but it looks very much kind of like a monster-esque version. But the important part is he doesn't talk or anything. But in that scene where Lex Luthor is like almost bowing to him or learning from him or something, and then these mother boxes appear, and then like soldiers come in. I guess they recognize there was a break-in or something. I don't know. Maybe the electricity had started. So maybe it is after he started the process with Doomsday. I don't know yet. Because there's like military or police coming in. And we don't see what happens to them. But as soon as they get there, this creature and the boxes all kind of dissipate and go out into the universe. And then you see Lex Luthor like look up and like slowly turn around. And then that's where the scene ends. That's all that they released. And so presumably the cops get fucked up because you never see them in the actual movie. So they obviously don't come back out.
And you see shit like
but
that
you do see,
makes me so mad.
Because that would have at least explained a little bit of the Cyborg cameo. Like, okay, there's a fucking box.
Not even that. You know what it would have... Because a lot of people have been harping on Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex Luthor.
Which makes no sense to me. I thought he did great.
I thought he did a really cool job.
I loved it.
Because I immediately knew, like, something happened within him learning that kind of helped push him to that...
You know what this is?
Like, breaking down point that he was at by the end of the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And also, it reminds me of in Avengers when they took out the Thor scene. It's the same fucking thing. You take out the Thor scene where he goes into the well, and then him showing up and acting like the motherfucker that he is makes no sense. No. It makes no sense. Just like Jesse Eisenberg's character makes no sense. Why would he create Doomsday? How does he even know about Darkseid? Like, and what beacon are you talking? Of course, we know it's mother boxes, but nobody in the fucking movie knows that shit. What beacon are you talking about? How does he know Superman's dead?
Let's just get into all the bad things in the movie, and I unfortunately have a list. But what if one of the worst things in the movie happened in one of the most pivotal times, and it's during the Batman fight, and people are gonna say, "Oh, you're nitpicking. Oh,
Can I guess?
You're fanboying out."
Can I guess?
What?
I might not even be the same thing. I'm gonna tell you the part about that fight that bothered me, and we'll see if it's the same as you're gonna say. I'm gonna kill you, Martha.
Why did you say Martha?
Martha. Wait, no. It's like Martha. No, and there was a great meme about it. I hate you. What's your mother's name? Martha. Your mother's name's Martha. Did we just become best friends?
Yo.
Yeah.
They should have just cut in that scene from Step Brothers.
They really should. Because it's the same thing. What the fuck was that? Anyway, go ahead. That was my biggest. Out of the whole movie, that was the part that made me the most mad. Like,
number one.
What?
I'm gonna say this
go ahead.
before I say that. Love Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yes.
I would have preferred a younger version of Batman.
I'm okay with the older one though.
And I'm gonna say why.
But go ahead.
That would have made that paper thin excuse for why they were fighting a little bit more believable. Had it been Batman like directly after Robin died.
We don't know when Robin died. We don't know when Robin died.
We can tell that there has been some time there.
We don't know how much time though. All we saw was a costume. We don't know. It could have been.
No.
We don't know. For all we know, it happened post Superman. We don't know. It could have been. That could have been the catalyst. How?
Again,
it doesn't matter. That's the point.
We saw, it appeared that Robin, by the
it doesn't appear that way.
Happened,
no, all it does is by the time this movie is happening, Robin's dead. That's all we know. We don't know about what happened. And remember, even Jeremy Irons said, he goes, Superman changed everything. And I think that was a very, very deliberate line because I don't think he just meant like change things in the world. He was not talking about the world as a whole. He was talking about Bruce fucking Wayne and Batman. That's when Batman started killing motherfuckers. That's when Batman started saying, you know what, the end will justify the means.
I don't believe that.
And also, it could have very well been what sent Robin over the edge and turned him into the Joker. Who the fuck knows what's happening?
I don't believe that's the way this plays out. I don't believe that was ever the intent of the way this plays out.
I think it is.
I think there is nothing like that.
He even says so much.
Directly point to that says, okay, Superman came, then Robin died, then Batman went crazy.
No, I agree.
Then
but I don't think Robin died and that made Batman crazy. No. I think even if you take the Robin out, I'm just saying we don't know.
The only way this makes sense, the only way is that if in that 30 minutes we see Dick Grayson, Damien, somebody whose name at some point was Robin, die in that building alongside the guy they showed die in the movie. Then
that wouldn't make any sense.
Then
though.
I would believe Robin died.
Well, then why would the costume have the Joker thing? It wouldn't.
Because
Joker killed either Robin became the Joker.
Joker would love a kick out of that. How you didn't kill Superman? Haha! You let your family die. That's some shit the Joker would do even after.
But he didn't write "You let your family die." Luthor
did that. But the haha on the suit.
I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I don't think it's as complicated. What I will say though is
the Robin suit shouldn't have been in there. I don't think. If you're going to cut out anything that pertained to it, cut it out too.
It didn't need to be there. Yeah, it was an Easter egg, but it was a pointless Easter egg. Yeah. That all it did was open up a can of worms that you weren't ready to eat.
Because you're making more questions than you already had answers to.
I would agree. But I will say this as far as I think the story makes sense in that you see Batman, and for the first time in Batman's life, and Bruce Wayne's life, he is helpless. Like, not the first time. Let me rephrase.
And I got
the second time in his life, he's helpless.
That was fine. I got that.
And that's why he went over the edge. Because now I have to address this.
I really don't believe Superman showing up with the catalyst for his brutality.
I do. I absolutely do.
Be that as it
because in the movie, and this is harping back to your original point of why is it just now that people like Clark Kent are getting onto the Batman? He's been around for 20 fucking years. Yeah, but he's only been branding and killing people for the last 18 months.
Maybe.
Which is coincidentally the same amount of time Clark Kent's been a reporter.
Very, very paper. That is paper thin logic right there.
The whole fucking thing is paper thin logic.
Yes, but that makes even less sense than the thing that they're trying to tell you makes sense in the movie.
Well, they didn't explain it. They just said...
And again, if you have a younger Batman, maybe at the beginning of his year, who would not trust an alien like Superman, who we just saw destroy an entire city. He's like, no, this shit's got to go. He's got to go.
I think a younger Batman would have been more idealistic. I think he would have been like, maybe there's good in this guy. This is a Batman that's warned. He's seen the Joker.
Idealistic to
scorned.
Yeah,
jaded.
Back to idealistic.
He doesn't go
by Justice League. Because I guarantee you, by the time Justice League comes out, he's not going to be killing people anymore. And if he does kill anything, he's going to kill parademons or Brother Eye robots or whatever thing they think of.
Bring up.
But my thing is, that fight was so lame. And here's why. Here's why I say he was the wrong Batman. Because if Batman's going to fight Superman, if you're going to have the balls to put that in a movie, give me a real fight. You gave Batman a chunk of kryptonite the size of
a rock,
a fucking boulder,
house. Yeah.
And you know what he does with it?
He makes
3
tear
bombs.
gas. He makes 3
and a spear.
No, the spear is some bullshit. He should have made bullets.
The entire not even bullets
or something.
I would have rather seen him put on like kryptonite.
I thought about that when I was thinking about how would I fight. No,
something he could throw in like.
No. Here's why.
Here's why.
No, here's why. Here's why that wouldn't work. No, it was smart. Let me tell you why he was smart. I even thought about this like when I was writing. Like, if I was writing a Batman vs Superman, how would I do it? And this is what I would do. I would start with the exact fucking same thing: kryptonite gas. It's the only thing that will slow him down to your level.
I don't
where
believe
nothing
that.
else will. What else are you gonna use?
We saw him as soon as he came into contact with kryptonite.
No, it wasn't until the gas.
He came. No. When he went to go get the spear, remember he
yes,
the spear, and
but that's because he was holding it.
If he comes close to kryptonite, it hurts him.
I understand. So yes, you can line the suit with it. I agree.
We saw Luthor cut Zod's fingertips off with a piece of kryptonite. Right?
I agree.
So
yes, you can line the suit with it.
He could have put a kryptonite ring on and punched Superman in the fucking face.
Because he wouldn't have been able to hit him without the contact. Without the physical contact.
Works by proximity.
Only in gas form in this world.
Not
in this world. Yes.
You saw, even when he dropped the spear, Lois threw the spear over here. He's laying here. He's still.
But at that point, he's gotten dosed fucking 3 times.
Across the room.
But by that point, he's already in a weakened state. That you can't count that. Think about this. He caught the fucking gas bomb. The only reason he even hurt him is because it blew up in his hands and had contact. If he had put bullets, he would have dodged the bullets. Batarangs, he'd have dodged the batarangs. You line your suit with armor, kryptonite armor, he fucking shoots you with his eye beams, or he blows you with his fucking, horse breath.
With that much kryptonite, he could have made all of that. There should have been, that fight should have been twice as long.
I agree with that.
More kryptonite-based gadgetry.
I agree with all that.
They should have, and I get why they did the spear, because you need something to kill Doomsday, which, by the way, shouldn't have been in the movie. That was dumb. That was like really, really dumb.
It wasn't executed poorly. I mean, the fight was okay, but it was way too short. Didn't give Doomsday enough power or credit for the threat that he is.
And what was the
solar flare? He didn't metamorphosize enough. I know what the solar flare bullshit was. Why did you give him that power? What the fuck is that? And also, why did you kill him with a spear?
Was that an Easter egg?
For what?
For Superman solar flare from the comics?
I hope not. That was bad. Anyway, the Doomsday wasn't executed overly well. I wish we hadn't had him in the movie. You should have saved him and done him as a central threat. Even in the first Justice League movie would have been okay. Or wait, make Superman fucking 2, Death of Superman. That's fine.
You could have just killed Superman in the first Justice League movie.
Yeah. Well, no, I understand. He made a point.
And that would have been fine.
We got to end this. But here, he made an interesting point, Zack Snyder, about why he killed Superman. And at first I thought I was like, oh, this is going to be stupid. But I actually kind of agree with it, maybe a little bit. And his reason was, I felt like if Superman was alive, it would just be everybody joining up to be with Superman. Like, okay, we're going to follow Superman into battle because he's Superman. As where if you take Superman out, and now Batman has to go around and organize this group, that makes it more compelling or something else. And I'm like, maybe you can make that. You can't make that work, but maybe somebody can make that work.
No, like
I don't care either way.
I completely disagree with that fact.
Well, that's fine. I wouldn't be the way I'd do it, but I'm just saying it's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
If your villain for Justice League is Darkseid.
Well, but I think they're going to pull a Thanos. You're not going to have Darkseid in the next movie.
Yes, but let's be frank. Everybody Darkseid sends to Earth to fuck up anything.
It's a mega level threat.
Could probably, knock Superman on his ass a couple of times at least.
Well,
like they will be.
You're going to need Superman.
Tier. Yeah, you're going to.
I get it. Him. And so I think you're going to have him. They're going to bring him back. He's not going to die. He's not dead. Not really.
No, he's not dead yet. Which is something they could have saved for the end of the first Justice League movie. Maybe. Or the very first scene of the second Justice League movie.
I don't know.
This movie will forever be plagued by the fact that there's a bunch of great visuals.
We can agree on that.
Don't quite fit together.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I mean, 30 minutes is a lot of material. I don't know if it's enough to save it. I don't know.
I think if it's 30 minutes and it's 30 minutes that's scattered completely throughout the movie.
Just like the rest of the fucking movie?
That it could save it if the 30 minutes
if it connects
if all 30 minutes of it is connecting things or connecting scenes.
Or explaining some of the plot holes that you left open.
Like, that's fine. Cool. I'll be the first one to come back and say, you know what, after watching the extra 30, it was a really good movie. Until then, there's too much bad stuff in it and going on with it to say that it's a good movie.
Well, what would your rating be? What is your post, you've had time to watch it multiple times, you've had time to think about it, so let's end on our final rate. I'm going to rate it 7. That's going to be my final rating is 7. So you're going to go with fair.
I'm going to say 5 because of all the cool visuals and because it's fanboys, that's what you go to a superhero movie to see.
It's a spectacle movie.
The things from the books. And it hit a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't make them make sense in a cohesive way. And that's the only thing I can say that Marvel and Avengers have done over them.
I would even argue that not as well. I think people are being overly critical on this movie, but they give a lot of the same
it's more
problems, a lot of Marvel. Maybe, but like Avengers 2, no, it wasn't the same sideshow as this, but it was still plagued.
The other stuff that goes on in it, you kind of could get a piece of it, of what was going on without, the deleted scenes. Like, even though the Thor scene is kind of fuzzy, it's explained at the end where he's like, well, there's, this is I think it's like the 3rd or 4th stone that's showing up in as many months. I need to go check this shit out. So you're like, oh, okay. So he's tying together Guardians and he knows about that. Okay. You can kind of follow that. But with this, there's a lot of stuff that
doesn't make sense yet.
That doesn't make sense, and there wasn't anything you could pull from anywhere else.
Because it's all new.
It's all new.
I think it had a lot that it had to introduce, and I think it did okay.
In one movie.
It's
you took too many books and tried to put them together.
I agree with that. And the title probably was a bit misleading as well.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm going to still say it was a 7 overall, and that was because it introduced what it had introduced, not in the best way it could have done it, but it did do it. It gave me a really great Batman and a really great Alfred. It introduced a whole new Batman franchise, which I'm very excited about. By far my favorite Batman on screen. Period. No question about it for me. And
I will say that because I believe in the future we are going to get a Robin on screen.
Maybe.
So I will be excited because we will get a legitimate version of Batman and hopefully a legitimate version of Robin on screen in this darker world.
Yeah. They could add some humor to it, though.
Yes.
All the humor came from Ben Affleck, by the way.
Jesse Eisenberg was pretty funny.
He wasn't funny. He was just
disturbingly
disturbed and off kilter, like awkward.
Guy. Yeah, but that's what made it funny. Like,
I guess, but I meant actual
comedy. Like this was.
There was 2 scenes, and they were both Batman. One of them was the oh shit, which apparently apparently Ben Affleck ad-libbed, but it fit really well because it was funny. What else
do you say? You're about to get
fucking roasted. And even Batman at that point is just like, oh shit,
didn't prepare for this one.
And then the other one was, I thought she was with you, right? Like
it was
campy,
cheesy, but
it was cheesy.
But
it was okay. You needed something.
Everything was so dark.
They could have sprinkled a little bit of
turn a little light on. It's
and that's probably another thing. People leave this movie, they're depressed.
Yes. Like,
even if they had a good time, they're depressed. And then you kill the motherfucking Superman.
The best thing about DC is, in the light, there was always some dark. And that's on the good side. You can always do your dark and gritty stuff through Batman. Have him always in that dark, gritty mode.
But this problem has plagued Zack Snyder from the beginning. Did you see the Superman? Did you see the video? Yeah, Superman should be bright. Yeah. Like in the Man of Steel, they did a great video, and they took the brightness of the Superman, the contrast, and they turned it way up, so it was very vibrant. And they redid the movie. Well, somebody took scenes from the movie rather, and did a YouTube video where they took the original and put it side by side with this new vibrant version. Just the color tone alone made the scenes where he's flying and it made it so much more epic and Superman-y. Batman is black and gray. He can be in darker tones. Superman's fucking bold ass yellow, red, and blue. Like, he's bright, motherfucker. He's like he's the symbol of light and brightness and
he is the ever present. Superman is the symbol for the good
and
that
justice.
Good will always be in humanity. He is the manifestation of that good.
Yeah, he's the best of humanity, and he can only be that because he's not human.
Yes,
which is ironic. And Batman is the reality. He's like I don't know what Batman is. He's the personification of the darkness of
And again,
humanity.
with a younger version of Batman, they could have written him the same way, just made him younger. I would have rather had seen that ideal clash more so.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people thought.
And
that's the thing a lot of people didn't like is Superman was forced into fighting Batman.
And not even
coerced.
And the thing about the Force, and I know we got to end this, and I'm sorry we're going a little bit over, but that was Superman literally. I don't like a fight that can be stopped in a 2-second conversation. And if you're
one word conversation
the time to push Batman across the room into the fucking ground or whatever,
you could have been like, he's got my mother.
Throw him on the ground. He's like, he's got my mom. I need your help. Help me. I'll leave. Whatever. Just he's got my mom. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna help your alien. Well, her name's Martha. Oh, okay. I'll help you.
It's so bad.
But be that as it may.
And then at the end, Batman's all like,
he's sad.
I failed him in life.
Like, you tried to kill him. You tried to take his life. What do you mean you failed him? Fuck you. Wonder Woman should have been like, fuck you, Wade. Out.
Yeah, she should have been.
Wonder Woman, out. Just left.
Anyway, like we said, anyone wasn't perfect. By any stretch of the imagination.
5.
6.5, 7. All right, everybody. We had to get the initial reactions out. Hopefully the extra scenes will be awesome. We'll see probably in a couple months. We'll see what happens. Till then, JT.
Odo.
This was Noobs.
Peace.